is the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Schola in the Narrowgate Security Agency studios.
I think people are so ready for change. They know that to fix the corruption that is so rampant in our federal government, you don't elect those who did the corrupting.
President-elect Donald Trump is working hard to fill his White House staff and cabinet. Those who supported Mr. Trump, as well as those who didn't, who understand there are winners and losers, are doing their part as well to move America forward. But the fringe is still in hysterics. Grown men and women disrupting and taking to the streets daily, while some men and women of the same age group are dying for us in Afghanistan and Iraq. These snowflakes are crying because Hillary got pasted. This behavior is no surprise. Trump supporters were bullied and attacked throughout the campaign, and those attacks continue. Today we talked to Nicole Gratson, the model, actor, and TV pro, has seen her share of hate from the far left. We welcome Nicole Gratson to the show today to share her story. Sarah Palin remembers Gwen Ifill. Palin stands up for Steve Bannon. The governor applauds President-elect Trump's pick for AG. And a brand new installment of Liberty and Legacy with Tamara Colbert is on the way from Texas. Welcome to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. The Palin Update is sponsored by Narrowgate Security Agency. Learn more at narrowgate.com. Trump supporters being harassed, punched, belittled, etc., nothing new. But now that Trump has won fair and square and will be the next president of the United States, the craziness still continues. Today we talk with actor, model, and TV pro Nicole Gratson about that very topic. And right now we do say hello to Nicole Gratson in California. Nicole, welcome to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. How are you?
I'm great, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
It's harder to get to you than it has been to Trump or Palin or some of the other big names. You're busy, doing your thing. And, you've done so much already with modeling and TV and acting. And now you have a beauty blog, which we'll plug tonight for sure. And it's just great what you're doing. And, a conservative that some people sometimes say, I can't believe you are, especially being in the hotbed of liberalism in California. But, what I want to talk about you quickly before we just really give a round of applause to everybody who supported Donald J. Trump, and it's amazing that this has happened and he is going to be our president. But, I think back to this campaign, and we've talked to so many people, and I've had stories about people who've been bullied, who've been pushed around, who've been physically assaulted. Juan Hernandez, as a matter of fact, also in California, the gay Hispanic man who was bloodied at a rally because of wearing his Make America Great Again hat. You saw this guy dragged out of the car in Chicago recently. These people are still disrupting and screaming in our city streets. And you've experienced this too, right? Not only the cyberbullying, but people just coming up to you and saying things. This is outrageous because you voted for Donald Trump.
Kevin, it's really unbelievable. And in all my years, I've been voting now since I was 18 years old. And I have never, ever experienced such unrest, such divisiveness, such derision, all because you have a political agenda or a political opinion. And I'm very outspoken and unabashed in my feelings and in my views. But in the same token, I don't bash people for their views, whatever they may be. Right. I'm conservative. I'm so far to the right, I'm falling into the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, I'm really far. I'm a righty. If you're middle of the road, if you're liberal, I'm not going to sit there and set your car on fire, beat you up, call you names. I just never, ever experienced such division. And I've never experienced, and I talked about this with my sister-in-law and a lot of my conservative peeps, is that I almost can't help, because of this election and for the past couple of years with just the divisiveness that's going on in our country, I've never felt such distance from other races or other people that think differently from me. There's like a level of a very covert level of mistrust, and it's like very ambiguous, but it's there, and I can feel it. You could cut it with a knife, and it just is not. It's not a good feeling, and I never had to deal with that in my 44 years of living, I've never had to deal with that until recently. I've never been called a racist until recently because I'm a Trump supporter now. I'm a racist. Okay. No, it's not true, but it's like, wow, this is what we're supposed to be America. We're supposed to be, united. United we stand, divided we fall. We're not going in a good direction, but this is why we voted for Trump. And I'm so happy that enough American people had the sense to make the right decision and get this man in, because I'm so happy.
Now,
I'm telling
I
you.
mean, you make a lot of great points as far as, how heated it's been. I think there's a lot of elements to it. Number one, just the day and age, the internet, the things getting out there so much, so quickly, so often, and also just people buying into the false narrative more. They're hearing, oh, this man's a racist. So because they heard it from some, fool from Hollywood or some singer or whoever that may be, they fall for it and then target people who are good Americans who, people have voted for Donald Trump for many, many reasons, and everyone wants to target certain things. Now, you have had some situations that have come up recently, people attacking you online, people saying things to you in public. I mean, tell us what happened, and is this something you could have ever imagined happening, say, in 1992 or in 1996?
Yeah, never in the 90s. I mean, even in 2008 when Obama, won for the first time. I wasn't happy. I was very unhappy, but, I sucked it up. What am I going to do? I voted against him. It didn't work in my favor. It didn't work in a lot of people's favor, but we didn't cause riots. We didn't go and protest. We went to work the next day. We put on our big girl panties and our big boy panties, and
right.
we went for it.
Right.
We waited 8 years. We did vote again. We lost again. But we waited our turn, and we fought with ballots, not bullets. And we won fair and square, and we're still getting kicked in the ass, and it's unbelievable to me that in a Democratic election, this is going on. And I know you asked, that, I've come across things. Yes, I have. Not in person per se. I mean, I've had debates in person, but they were pretty civil. I'm very lucky. But online, I've been attacked. I try to have a very spirited conversation with people that were on the other end, that had voted for Hillary. There was one instance where a friend of mine on Facebook, who I was in a play and a film with about 8 years ago, put a very blanketed, generalized Facebook post, and it said, and I quote, "All Trump supporters are bigoted racists," end quote. All right, so I countered that with examples, video examples of impassioned Black Trump supporters, okay, that explained why they were voting for Trump. And no matter how much I did this, they still spun their narrative, and they would twist it until it escalated so much that I was attacked on my Facebook wall, being called a racist and a bigotous and a bigotous individual and all that. And then I retaliated in private, and then I got called out on racist sites because I'm a racist now. And I'm like, okay, this went from 0 to 100 real quick. Yeah. And this is a person. This was an individual that I worked with in a film and in a play. And I'm like, really, this is what it's come to, because I voted for Trump and you voted for Hillary. And, when I saw her post, I was going to ignore it and just say, you know what, Nicole, just take the high road, forget it. But this individual is all about Black power. She's like a BLM person. And I just couldn't take it anymore. I was so sick of it coming through my news feed that I was like, I just fought back. But I fought back, I thought, pretty tastefully. I cited examples. I gave examples of of other black individuals that were Trump supporters. They do exist. I am dating a Hispanic fellow he was born in America, but he's Hispanic. He's got a Hispanic background. His mother was from Mexico, and his father was from El Salvador. He voted for Trump. There's people that are of other races, not just white, that have voted for Trump. People, it's I just think people are very they don't do their research. They like you said, there's so much false narrative out there.
Yeah.
They fall into the same media, the same liberal bias. I listen to the alternative, sources, Breitbart and The Blaze, and I'm really it's Den, it's Michael Lynch these days. And I just there's other sources, and a lot of these like Trump speeches are creatively and strategically edited to make him look really bad.
Oh, sure.
People.
And like you said, anyone who does the research, they can easily see this. But, it is a shame, though, that the research has to be done so diligently when people have to work and have lives to live. There was a time... a lot of these people aren't on the planet anymore, but there was a time where journalism actually existed and people could go to a quote-unquote mainstream source and get their news. And so, I always felt bad for the oldest among us and the youngest among us because the older folks, they actually saw when journalism was okay, and some of them think it still is and don't realize what's happening. And then you have people in college who are, taking down everything their liberal far-left professor is telling them and taking that as fact and getting indoctrinated. So it's tough. But you know what? I think even more impressive, the Trump victory, because here's a guy who had to go up against the usual suspects, the media, the Democrats, the far left, but also a lot of Republicans. Just the naysayers everywhere. They tried to bring him down. And that's why the nerves, I think, for those who hoped he would win, still had some nerves on election night, because if that perfect storm came together of the rigged election, of people, the Kardashian crowd just not picking him, and then people falling for the press that was saying Hillary had it in the bag and not going out and voting, if those three things would have come together, it might have painted a different picture. But instead, we saw the Pennsylvanias and the Wisconsins and the Michigans of the world turning their states to red.
Oh, I was watching it and I was just crying. It was just like... It was like bing, bing, bing. And I was just like, oh, my God. You know what, though? I'm going to tell you, honestly, Kevin, I really believed that he was going to take it. I had friends that were like, oh, Nicole, I don't know. They say that Hillary's up in the polls. I said, hold on.
Right.
It's not election day.
They say, right.
There's something called a silent majority. They said this about Truman. Oh, he wasn't going to take it. Landslide. He took it. A lot of people just didn't voice their opinion. I know people to this day that I'm close to that will not tell me who they voted for. And I think it's Trump.
And it's gonna and it's gonna go on, and that's fine by me. I had a lot of quote unquote quiet neighbors approach me like toward election day, say, "Oh, I hope he wins," and older folks who don't want any trouble. They don't have a sign on their lawn that whatever, but they're out there. I talked to our good friend Thomas Schmitz, who works in California as well, and he calmed me down on election night too when I said they, and he wrote back, basically expletive they, because we're sick of hearing what they are going to tell us to think and do. And I know we're smart enough for that, but after what we saw in 2008 and the election in 2012, you had to have some doubts. But the difference here was who the candidate was, and Hillary was terrible, and she lost this election, no doubt. But Trump won this election, too. Any of those other 16, I don't think they prevail, because they would have not known how to come back at her, with savage tactics that were thrown at him. He was able to go out and withstand them.
Yeah, and I just think, there's that element of him. You know what it is he's not a politician. He's not a politician, and that's why I love him. When he first announced his candidacy, I put his bid in, I was like, I'm voting for him. Oh yeah, I was so excited.
Yeah. We were on board right away.
Right?
I mean, but and now look, people who don't know Nicole, she's in California now for years, but this is a Jersey girl, okay, who grew up somewhat in the same area as me, and we've known Donald Trump and known of Donald Trump a long time before politics, and that's a really great point you make too, and I think that when I talk to friends from the Midwest or friends from the South who maybe didn't understand Donald Trump when he talks out there. A lot of the things he said that offended so many, and I don't even mean the Access Hollywood that was the big deal, but all these other things that I can't believe he talks like this. And people like you and me, we didn't even think anything of it. We've heard this for years. I mean, say what you want about it. New York, North Jersey, that's the way a lot of people talk, and a lot of it is meant for humor. A lot of it is satirical. A lot of it's being sarcastic, and I think that, went over the heads of some.
Exactly. I mean, when I heard the Access Hollywood tape, and I'm a woman, I laughed. I'm like, oh, for crying out loud.
Right, there's a humor. I mean, it's like, come on, Trump.
I'm like, are you serious? These people act like he was plotting to blow up the world.
And he's running against a woman who is married to Bill Clinton and is best friends with Anthony Weiner's wife. I mean, that you can't make this up. You can't make this up.
You just cannot. And I'm like, and this is, and what he said in private to another guy. You know what I thought happened with that whole thing? And I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because it's pure nonsense. But I think with Billy Bush was an admiration of this man. He's a billionaire. Come on, he's a tycoon. I mean, he's female Viagra.
Right, and he's like, look at me, I'm hanging with Donald. Let's do boys.
Yes, and I think that Donald ran with it.
It was like when Jerry and George met Keith Hernandez in the locker room, right?
It's the same. Yeah, I'm like, oh, and I'm a woman. I'm going to be the first one to call you out if you offend me.
Women defenders of Trump have been the best. I mean, because y'all have really just stepped it up as far as the passion and going up against this nonsense. And he certainly needed that. And no one higher than Governor Palin, who was on board right away. Like you said, you were on board right away. I was on board right away. And as far as public figures and as far as conservatives, a lot of people did not like that Sarah Palin, supported Donald Trump. And even before she officially endorsed him in January, it was all positive what she said about him before. And, look at that. Palin power prevails again. Talk about someone that people like to mock.
Oh, I know. And I'm all about Palin. I love that woman. I wish she would be our first female president. I've gotten a lot of rhetoric too that, well, I think we need a female president. Hey, look, I would love to see a female president in my time, but
sure.
It wasn't Hillary, okay?
Right.
No.
I mean,
I don't care if you're black, if you're white, if you're purple, whatever, man, woman, whatever. Just be the right person for the job. I honestly feel that Trump is the right person for the job. He's already, making progress. He's got his cabinet almost together. I love his choices that he's making with people. The guy is a class act. He's a classy guy. He's not taking a salary. He's really for the people. He's giving up his billionaire lifestyle. And I'm going to be honest with you, Kevin, I don't think I would do something like that. He is giving up a lot of luxury to be slandered, to be ridiculed.
70 years old, children and grandchildren threatened, giving up that lifestyle. I mean, just that alone proves to you, and hey, it may be stubbornness, it may be ego, it may be, hey, I can do this when no one else can. Great. I love that someone is confident enough to do that. But, George Washington didn't want to be president either, and he did it because he thought he had to. And, Trump was asked by Larry King decades ago, would you run? And he said something along the lines of, only if I thought I had to. And he had to, and he did it, and he won. Right. And it's so exciting because, you and I both just missed Reagan as far as voting. For me, this is the first time non-incumbent that I voted for the guy in the primary who got the nomination, let alone the presidency. So it's really great to actually be for someone instead of just against someone or something. And it's very exciting to see what he's going to do. Now we just have to have people like Nicole flip New Jersey and California, and we'll be set.
You know, I mean, seriously, I'm surrounded by them. It's like, and I'll stand up for myself, you know, and being in the industry, quote unquote, you know, and acting and all that. Hey, if I never work again, whatever. It's no sweat, you know. This is who I wanted for president. This is my beliefs, and I was always raised to stand up for what you believe in, and then don't be afraid to voice what you believe in. You know, and I get that some people were very hush-hush about it. Like, I would have friends send me private messages on Facebook that were like, oh my God, I'm so for Trump, but they wouldn't put it on, you know, they just didn't
Right.
talk politics. And,
Right.
you know, that's your decision. You know, I'm very unabashed, and I'm very unapologetic about it, you know, and
well, clearly,
hey.
as a program dedicated to Governor Palin, we appreciate that because, and I also respect and understand those for different reasons who are quieter. But without people like you who are out there talking, you know, what you do is you make it okay for the quiet folks to go and do this because they see you, they like you, they respect you, they know how you really are, and they go, you know what, Nicole said that, you know, it is good. And I've told my kids this. I'm like, you know, guys, when we go out and you talk about Mr. Trump or things like this, people will look at us and say, wait, you know, that they're a lot of fun. They're normal. They're good. They're nice people. And then go, well, they're for Trump. Maybe this stuff they're saying isn't true. And hopefully someone does the homework and takes a look. Before we let you go, Nicole, I'm glad we finally got you again. She's harder to get than anyone. I mean, Ben Carson, easier. Rand Paul, they're here. Call them up. They're on. Nicole, forget it. And one of the reasons is your new blog, a beauty blog. You set off the air. I don't know if your listeners want to hear that. Are you kidding me? This is a Bristol Palin channel, too. I mean, we got a lot of people who are interested. And look at the people. We don't have Elizabeth Warren or Donna Shalala on here. We have women on here who do use things like this. So tell us about your blog. Get ready for the name, folks. You may not think it's conservative. And tell us what you do on there.
Okay, well, you can visit my blog at Bargain Beauty for the Broke Ass Bitch.wordpress.com. And I'm a beauty blogger. And what I do is, well, first and foremost, I write for beauty companies, very high-end beauty and skincare companies. I have tested over thousands of products, and I bring those products that I have tested to my beauty blog. I am your very beauty godmother. I do all the work for you so that you don't have to do it. I break it all down. So please come and visit me, leave a comment. You can even get me on Instagram at Bargain Beauty Bitch. So yeah, please. I don't update as much as I'd like to because I'm working for other beauty companies at the same time. So I'm trying to shuffle a lot of things at once. But I really welcome your comments and your visits. And if there's anything you want me to review, any specific product or skincare or makeup, whatever, let me know. And I would love to do it.
Nicole Gratson, awesome to finally have you here. You're going to come back. We're going to have you on again, I hope.
I hope so. This was fun, Kevin. It really was, and I'm glad I was able to speak about it and voice my enthusiasm for our candidate who won, who defied all the odds. Anything is America. Anything is possible. There you go.
He did it. We got a lot to look forward to now, and January 20th is one of them.
You have no idea. I'm so happy.
The great Nicole Gratson standing up to the tolerant left. The woman who shared a stage with Sarah Palin and Joe Biden 8 years ago has died at the age of 61. Sarah Palin remembered Gwen Ifill this past week. Palin saying, "It is sad to hear that Gwen Ifill has passed away. Gwen was a veteran journalist and had moderated the 2008 vice presidential debate. May your thoughts and prayers be with her family today." Steve Bannon gets a well-deserved role in the Trump administration. And after baseless attacks against our friend, Governor Palin read them the riot act. Palin posting on Facebook this past week, "The undefeated equals Bannon ethics. Skill and courage takes down lamestream lapdogs. Goodness, the liberal lamestream lapdog media just can't get anything right in its coverage of the Trump train. Obviously, we look forward to a fundamental restoration of American exceptionalism under a president beholden to no one but we the people. But in addition, be thankful for the coming monumental change in journalism. Ready to stop rewarding the media's engagement in politics of personal destruction? Demand and declare it changes now. A latest press target is a man who's been part of a team that just made history. Trump campaign CEO Steve Bannon is particularly bright on the leftist media's radar because they cannot handle the fact he's also from their arena, but has been enormously more influential than his peers. How dare one of our own succeed outside our herd is no doubt a favorite whine in D.C. today. The Steve Bannon I know is a passionate defender of freedom, and he lives by example. He's a patriot, a military veteran, and proud Army dad. Bannon's talents are on display in many venues, my favorite being his production of the documentary The Undefeated. Please watch the film The Undefeated. Bannon understood the media's coverage of the 2008 election defined injustice and double standard. More importantly, he did something about it. I'll be forever grateful, as will other common-sense conservatives who will not stand for the press's politics of personal destruction. A masterful work of wrecking the media's biased filter, Bannon captured truth. He'll do the same as we unite around our 45th president, Donald J. Trump. And Donald Trump's selection of Jeff Sessions for Attorney General is a big hit with Governor Palin. Palin saying, excellent and strong choice to lead the U.S. Justice Department. Attorney General Jeff Sessions will be a strong voice to restore law and order across America. A great pick. And the governor included a great photo. It's of her and Donald Trump with Senator Sessions inside his office following a rally to stop the Iran nuclear deal on Capitol Hill back in 2015. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety, you can visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page, follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA, and check out sarahpack.com.
Now, the Palin Update with Kevin Scholla presents Liberty and Legacy. Here's Tamara Colbert.
Liberals preach tolerance as though it's their religion. But you know what? Tolerance only applies to anything they agree with. If you and I happen to disagree, then they're intolerant to our choice to believe something different. And of course, this double standard was on full display by the Hamilton cast when they stood up in a very mean-spirited way to chastise the Vice President-elect Mike Pence when he and his family went to the musical. It was just distasteful. It was rude. And it was really low class. So much for me wanting to go see Hamilton now. I just find that so distasteful that it really has ruined my desire now to want to go see it. I'm not telling you to boycott it. You do what you feel you need to do. And I'm going to do what I feel I need to do. And sadly, people always disappoint me. And I'm not going to spend my money to go see Hamilton to support people who are rude and mean-spirited and intolerant. The very things that they try to project that you and I are. It's laughable. I really want to talk now about how exciting divine providence has been on our nation. America has been counted out and counted as the underdog more than once. But each time, Americans have been able to come together to do more, to think more, to find solutions, to fix what needs to be fixed, whatever it has been. And I love that about our nation. And yes, I am still basking in the glow of winning on November 8th, but not gloating. I'm enjoying it because now I feel there's a reprieve. I can breathe. I can approach those who think differently than me. I can be positive. I can be welcoming toward them. I can talk with them about what I believe is the next great opportunity for our nation. And it really has started this week with the new appointments that Donald Trump has been making. But specifically, I want to touch on Senator Jeff Sessions and Trump's spot for Attorney General for Senator Sessions. I feel the need to say this out loud to you because the mainstream corporate media is not covering this. They're projecting this hatred, this racism, intolerance, trying to beat down and denigrate Senator Jeff Sessions before he even gets a chance. But I think it's important to let you know that some of America's top civil rights advocates this week had some of the most high praise for Donald Trump's pick of Senator Jeff Sessions as the AG. U.S. Civil Rights Commissioner Peter Kirsanow said that Senator Sessions was a great man and that he had done more to protect the jobs and enhance wages of black workers than anyone in either House of Congress over the last 10 years. Kirsanow continued that praise by saying that no U.S. lawmaker had worked more tirelessly than Jeff Sessions to uphold the legacy of civil rights leader and late Democratic Congresswoman Barbara Jordan, who in arguing for immigration reductions famously declared that, quote, immigration policy ought to be a place where the national interest comes first, last, and always, end quote. This is incredible. Civil rights attorney and founder of the Black American Leadership Alliance, Leah Durant, said that Senator Sessions had been a leader in the fight for preserving American jobs and ensuring opportunities for African American workers. I could go on and on. I don't have enough time on Liberty and Legacy to share with you these amazing gifts of approval from these leaders that the mainstream media is refusing to share with the rest of America. It reminds me that corporate media doesn't want to repair. They don't want to enjoy success, and they certainly don't want Donald Trump to be successful. So they lie. And then they lie to cover up lies. We can't trust them. Don't worry. There's plenty of other places to go and other media outlets we can trust on what they're reporting. Senator Jeff Sessions, I am proud to learn what I've learned, which is why I felt the need to have to share it with you, right? It's amazing what he has done. I love that. We have great leaders in America that have been put on the back burner because of the mainstream media. And now Donald Trump is taking the utmost care and concern with interviewing these potential cabinet members and appointees. But it is up to us to help spread that good word about them. What can we do to help make America great again? Well, first of all, we don't need to be bullied by angry, sore losers. It's time you and I stand up for truth. We've got to welcome our neighbors and colleagues who didn't vote for Trump, but let's welcome them into the fold, right? As citizens, as Americans, and that together we get an opportunity to raise our voices, to elevate the dialogue together about how we can help make America great again so that all Americans are served appropriately, fairly, squarely, and we all have endless opportunity. And it doesn't matter what our skin color is, who we voted for, or what our economic background is. As conservatives, it's time for you and I to go into the new places, have the tough conversations, talk to people we may never have approached before with love and a listening ear. We get to come together now. We get to lead the nation on helping fix what challenges are before us. Remember, we're Americans. We can accomplish anything, folks, we set our minds to. And I love that. I believe now is the time for our greatest hour. It is before us. It is time to return self-governance to the people and make our federal government smaller, less intrusive, and more constitutionally minded. It's going to be hard work. It's going to be painstaking, amazing work. And I love getting to work with the Convention of States Project because we get to educate citizens and legislators every day as to their constitutional power under Article 5. We're going to get it done because Donald Trump can only do so much now that he's inside the Beltway. But we, the people, we're on the outside. We are mighty and powerful, and we get a chance through Article 5 to work from the ground, from the grassroots up, to help fix the federal government and the structure that's broken. Trump has already shaken up the political establishment. I love it. They're terrified. It's awesome. We won because the people rose up and our God gave us favor in humility. Folks, this was a tiny success, but a gigantic new beginning for us to advance the cause of liberty and get our Constitution back. Let's get to work. I hope you have a blessed week. Tweet me at Tamara Colbert, hashtag Mama Grizz Radio. And I hope you guys are going to be going to the inauguration. I'm dying to know. Maybe we'll get a chance to meet there. I hope so. Tweet me. Let me know this week. I am Tamara Colbert for Mama Grizzly Radio. God bless you this week, and God bless America.
Tamara Colbert in Texas. Tune in for more Liberty and Legacy next week. And to learn about Convention of States, head to conventionofstates.com. The Palin Update, including Liberty and Legacy, is on demand and available for download, so just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also, like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook and follow along on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, and at Tamara Colbert. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Go to Breitbart.com and search Kevin Scholla. I want to thank Tamara Colbert and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thanks to Nicole Gratson, and thank you for listening today. A special thanks to our sponsor, Narrowgate Security Agency. Visit narrowgate.com. The Palin Update is produced by Lena Anderson, the Andy L. Kramer, and Lori Ann Lewis. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update right here on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day and happy Thanksgiving.